This episode is brought to you by Shaken and Stirred, the fanciest mobile bartending crew in town, armed with all the essentials to keep your party buzzing. Everyone knows a top-notch bartender is like a magician, making the drinks flow and adding a splash of fun to every cup, whether you're throwing a large bash, having a wedding, a corporate event, or an intimate gathering. Reach out to Marcus Wilson, the CEO and mastermind behind Shaken and Stirred. From now on, he's your go-to mobile bar service provider for a good time.
Boss Besties Talk Podcast.
What's up, besties? Welcome to another episode of Boss Besties Talk Podcast. Pew, 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 pew. Listen up. We have two amazing guests on this episode and next week's episode, Mr. Charles Winton Jr. and Ms. Ray Latson. Let's get into the intro.
Charles Winton Jr. is an extremely motivated and charismatic author, speaker, musician, and therapist with a passion for people. Charles considers himself to be a life changer who loves to engage people at their most intimate and deepest moments of their lives. Throughout his career, his passion has been to bring hope, healing, and restoration to everyone he encounters. Charles graduated from the University of Memphis with his bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He began his career as a mental health counselor and a drug and alcohol counselor with Shelby County Division of Corrections, where he spent the majority of his career until retirement. After working with incarcerated individuals, Charles believed his mission was to offer healing to families. He returned to school where he obtained his master's in marriage and family therapy from Capella University. Charles is a licensed professional counselor with the state of Tennessee. He has worked at both Transformation Center for Women and Delta Specialty Hospital, where he started their first trauma outpatient program. Currently, Charles is the program director of the Oaks at Lakeside Outpatient Program Memphis, and now Jackson, TN. He is also the owner of Wellsprings Counseling, Inc., where he specializes in marriage, family, individual, adolescent, and trauma counseling. He is also a certified EMDR2 trauma therapist. Charles has won many awards, from Top Performer Award for Shelby County Government, Lakeside Hospital Employee of the Year, West Tennessee Counseling Association Counselor of the Year, and many more. Charles is a member of the West Tennessee Counseling Association, where he served as 2022 and 2023 president. He is also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Inc. Charles became a licensed professional counselor to help people navigate their complex stories to live healthier and happier lives. He believes in a holistic approach to therapy, and he believes that all components of one's life are interrelated, and bringing understanding to these complexities will allow proper healing to take place. Please welcome to the show the very well-qualified and author of his first book, Psalms of the Heart, Mr. Charles Winton Jr.
Welcome back to the couch.
Yes, we are on the couch. Today's episode will be amazing. We are tackling mental health.
Yes.
Mental health.
Which is so important. Like, listen, we have doctors and all these other things for our phenomenal bodies, and we have to have someone that we can talk to for our minds.
For our minds, absolutely.
A therapist and someone who knows the anatomy of the brain is just as important as someone who knows your heart or knows anything else about your body. Listen, we're about to get into some amazing talk, and as you guys saw from the intro, he is well qualified.
Yes. AJ, tell the bosses who's on the couch with us today.
Yes, so it's two amazing people on the couch today. I'm going to introduce them one at a time. So the first person is one of our amazing friends, who is also our co-host.
She's also my stylist.
Yes. She, every episode you see her dressed, she styled everything she has on.
Yes.
She's amazing. And she's here because she's the stylist, and she's also one of the show producers, and she's also have been through some things in her life, and she's currently going through therapy.
Yes. And
she has an amazing story that she's going to share with us today. And so her name is Miss Ray Latson. And so our qualified
qualified
therapist.
Listen, help us on the couch today.
He's gonna help us on the couch today. Listen, we ain't gonna go into his credentials, but if you paid attention, you know exactly who he is and what he's done and where he come from. But he is the author of the 30-day devotional entitled Psalms of the Heart. Y'all, show some love for Mr. Charles Winton.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm just happy to be here.
Yes.
Thank y'all for joining us on the Boss Bestie couch.
Yes, welcome. Yeah, we love you guys.
Thank you.
So listen, we gonna jump right into it.
Head first, guys.
All right. All right.
Be careful.
You said be careful.
Be careful.
Please. Come on. Hey, what you said.
Right? Oh gosh. Okay, so let's start on the healthy tip of mental health. I think we want to start on the healthy tip.
Yes.
Work our way down. Let's talk healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries. Because some people don't really understand or know what healthy boundaries are, or just what some people don't know what boundaries are in general.
Hello.
And they cross them all day, every day with individuals. And yeah, some people may not understand how to identify a healthy boundary. So from either one of you or both, like, what are some healthy boundaries that our listeners can kind of look for and go off of?
Well, boundaries. Number one, now.
Yeah.
Give it to her. But I would probably boundaries are one of my favorite in therapy, because whether I'm fixing, if we're trying to work on an individual or we're working on relationships, married or couples, one of the foundation is building healthy boundaries.
Absolutely.
And once we think of boundaries, we always think of something negative, like barbed wire or a breakup or anger or wall. When I normally ask people, what is boundaries? I want to fill out of what do you think boundaries are, and there's always a negative connotation, but really boundaries are any limit that I need to honor, that I can love and work with you without resentment.
That is good.
Boundaries are any limit that I need to honor, that I can love and work with you without resentment. So that tells me one thing, two things really.
Take notes, y'all. So good.
In a love relationship, we need boundaries.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And in our work relationship, we need boundaries.
Absolutely.
And we're afraid because we think that they are going to break up the relationship or cause trouble. But actually the definition says, so I can love you, so I can work with you. So if we're going to be in a relationship, if we're going to be in a working relationship, we need to define those boundaries so we can know how far to go with each other. And then that brings love and that brings understanding.
Or even if we need to go any further.
Exactly. So that lets us know then. So we need to find that out right now.
Absolutely.
Let's not waste 10, 15 years of our lives and then say, hey, we can know this in 5 minutes.
Absolutely. No, for real.
Yes, that's
boundaries
good.
help you decipher who people are, who they are, who people are. Wait, boundaries help you separate exactly who a person is.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And just to piggyback on what Charles stated, for me, boundaries, you got to know yourself.
Yes.
Because again, I believe we experience a lot of things because we don't know what our boundaries are. I don't understand why I might do something or react a way, and I can't even express to you, even in a love relationship, hey, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't like that because I didn't know I don't know myself enough to be able to set a boundary and to make it clear. So for me, boundaries is self.
Yes.
Actually knowing self. So that way, when you're dealing with someone else, when you're dealing at work, when you're dealing in love, when you're dealing wherever, right? You know that's, hey, you 5 feet too close. If it's a physical thing, hey, I didn't like how you said that. If it's a verbal thing, I don't like how you looking, what you thinking. That, you know what I'm saying? It's, you got to know self first to be able to even set the boundary. But that barbed wire, that was good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was amazing.
It says morals, our boundaries, when you're talking about self, it comes from our morals, it comes from our value, it comes from lastly, our sense of self. So your boundaries, like I like to teach people, is who you are. It's not some rule that you're setting. You're telling people this is me. And if somebody's willing to walk away, guess what? They're not walking away from your rules. They're walking away from the essence of who you are.
Come on, essence.
And a lot of time people don't want to say who I am. Look, I don't like cussing. I don't like to be called out my name. That's who you are. And when we said earlier, you don't have to waste a long time relationship, because if you tell them all right now who you are, and if they walk away, then cop them deuces and say, okay, because it's not my rules. And then a lot of people bend and fold because they don't want to say it who they are, because you might leave. Well, they're not leaving your rules, they're leaving you. And you'll find out from the beginning. Is it me you want?
Is it me you want?
Then leave.
Come on.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. Listen, Charles is helping us on this couch today.
I've watched this episode a few times.
Hey.
Yes, come on.
Yeah.
So good, so good. So everything y'all said was absolutely, it was targeted on. I think we've touched on some of those things in some of our other episodes.
Yes.
And so it just confirms that what we were talking about, wisdom wise and just knowledge wise, it was right. Like that's so spot on. So let's move to hurt people. I wonder if hurt people have boundaries, or do they know themselves enough to establish boundaries? Yeah, because I feel like if a hurt person is hurting another person, then they don't really know themselves. They know they're hurt, but they don't know the essence of themselves to even just establish.
Like they know they hurt, but they've suppressed it so much that they don't even know that they're hurting somebody else.
Absolutely.
So how to see that in other people?
Yeah.
Or how to stop doing it ourselves if we're doing it ourselves.
Stop the cycle. Yeah.
So I have an example, and I don't want to get too deep, so I'm gonna try to kind of skirt it. So I experienced something in my life that was really traumatic, that was life changing for me.
Yes.
And when I became pregnant with my daughter, something stood up in me that I needed to identify, right? And I went to the person and I said, "Hey, you're this to me. We have this relationship, and this is supposed to be this type of love." I said, I recall, or I'm believing that something took place that wasn't supposed to take place.
Yes.
Did that happen? Because because the mind is
right.
You see what I'm saying? The mind is crazy.
So
So I was like, did that happen? And the person confirmed, yes. And in that moment, I said, okay, did someone do it to you?
My God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then from that response, I was better able to say, okay, now I know what I got to do.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when the response is, ain't nobody did that to me.
Yeah.
Never.
Right.
Okay, so
Now we defend.
and then right. And then my next question, because I'm realizing, the age, you know what I'm saying? What, because again, it's a lot of stuff that as a culture we don't really talk about that I think that we should. And so my next question was, well, where did you learn it? And then why did you choose me?
Right. My God.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like where that how does that come into play? And then when the response was, it was a long time ago, get over it.
My God.
Okay, so now we got to fight.
Now we got to fight.
Hello?
For real.
So I guess in that, we'll direct it to Charles. How do you break the cycle?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things when you said mention hurt people, and then you mentioned trauma. And one of the things I see is there's a trajectory on this thing, and when you have trauma, you have an event that happened to you, then you have a story, and then you have a behavior. So let's just say if I was bullied in high school, I might take the story that I'm weak, and then my behavior becomes I'm a fighter.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I went through a horrible divorce, it was traumatic, then I might say it was my fault. If he or she would have stayed, if they left, then it must be something wrong with me. And then I move to appeasing. And then so what happens is people carry that story around. And so what that story then directs our behavior, and the behavior what you would mention. How could you do it to me? And they are unaware of the story that's playing in their head. You get what I mean? And so that causes them to act in certain ways. But if we really understood each other, and we really understood the making of trauma and how it really affects us in the entire trajectory, then I know it's difficult. Listen to this. I know it's difficult. It's difficult to see somebody curse you out and your spouse and y'all having issues, for you to look past this argument now. But if you can look past that argument and say, why are you doing me like this? I immediately then say, because of your story, you think I'm gonna leave you. You think that this is, and so in a relationship, then I have to be able to move past the action and see the story. And then meet you right there. Come sit down. I know you felt like I was going to leave you, so you hit me. And what an awesome part of a relationship and going deeper when I can look past your action if I'm in a relation with you and see the little boy and see the little girl that just behaved. And then I speak to that, come here. I'm not going to leave you.
Come on.
I know you just yelled at me. And then they break down because you spoke to the essence of where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
sir.
that is good.
Okay.
That is so.
Yeah, I'm finna be reading the book.
It's
good.
I need you to get it. That's what I'm doing. Laying it out.
So even with Ray expressing her story, what I heard and what I see is that there's still a hurt little girl inside of her. So how does she come out of that and finally live to the full potential beautiful woman that she is now?
So this is what's gonna happen. There's never a crossing line, a finish line where I'm gonna get over it.
Oh,
I know you just said
I appreciate that.
You hear that,
sir?
I heard you say
I appreciate
everybody
that.
come to therapy think, Charles, I want to get over it.
Nah.
And the part of it, I know you bursting, so I'm gonna let you get to this one. The part of it is there's no finishing line that I get over it.
Right.
You'll always have a little part of right here in my heart that I take with me. So that little boy and that little girl always stays with us. But when you know your little boy and you know your little girl, it then empowers you.
Right.
But not knowing it is causing you the weakness. But when I'm aware of him and I'm aware of her, then I know you have to treat her right. Because you can't come to me, hey baby, what's up? We in Walmart. Hey, can I want to date you a little bit? You know, but I see a ring on your finger.
Come on,
it's
Charles.
raining. It's raining outside. Can you come to my house and hold me when the wee hours of the night? No, that's a little bit too much. Okay, well then let me tell you.
Right.
I need a man that's gonna come to me and that's gonna secure me. But this just too much now. I'll talk to you later. Let me go on the next hour. You go on.
Right.
So then when you know that that's a part of you, then that you that's on the couch, you stand up for her. And then everybody, there goes back to boundaries. Then you can either take me or you can leave me.
You can leave me.
And then you know from the beginning, look, we're not finna waste each other's time. And you can't come and hold me because this person, this little girl beside me needs safety and security.
Come on.
Do you get what I mean?
First and foremost.
You got somebody else, you can't safely secure her. So bye.
This episode is brought to you by Shaken and Stirred, the fanciest mobile bartending crew in town, armed with all the essentials to keep your party buzzing. Everyone knows a top-notch bartender is like a magician, making the drinks flow and adding a splash of fun to every cup, whether you're throwing a large bash, having a wedding, a corporate event, or an intimate gathering. Reach out to Marcus Wilson, the CEO and mastermind behind Shaken and Stirred. From now on, he's your go-to mobile bar service provider for a good time.
Yes. Charles, listen, because the little girl in me is getting set free today.
Yes.
Stand up for her.
Come on.
Every time.
Every time. She's waiting on you.
Yes.
He's waiting on you to stand up for her. Because when we were little kids, when they bullied us, when they molested us, when they abused us, we couldn't stand up for it.
We couldn't.
Right.
So now what I always do is get you to meet that part of you.
Yeah.
And say, you know what? I don't need a man. I don't need a woman. I'm going to take care of you.
Come on.
So if somebody look, feel like, smell like, taste like they about to hurt you,
Oh,
I
come
got
on.
you.
5
And
senses.
so then I speak up for you.
Yes.
And then that's how you secure. And you can still go on in your life. Now, that's why I mentioned that there'll never be a finish line. Each and every time something will trigger her.
Right.
That
But
part.
then you say, no, I got you.
Right.
I got you. And now let's go back to boundaries. I said there are things that you love and work. When your boss stand up in front and yells at you and belittle you in front of everybody, then the next day I need to meet with you.
Right.
Yeah, hi. I'm an employee here.
Right.
And I want to be treated like a professional. I want to be treated like a woman. I want to be treated like, oh, okay, that's you standing up. And I guarantee you, things will change.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so good. Listen,
We need to
Well,
yesterday.
sit free on this couch right
Well,
now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, you're about to go into something, Ray.
I
saw
want
you
to, because it
doing
was
over there.
so. Listen. I know I might look reserved on the outside,
Yeah.
but I am
But-
a volcano
Yeah.
on the inside. But the thing that got me, that stood out to me, Charles, is when you said, "This is never gonna like stop." You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna.
It's no finish
You see,
line.
it's no finish line,
Yeah.
and that's so important for me because even in my process of going through therapy, intense therapy, group therapy, one-on-one therapy, now you medicated. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Now you going, and I'm like, at what point does this not feel like what it feels like?
Right.
So just to hear you say, "Hey, nah, this is," and I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know, when someone asks me, "Hey, what you got going on?" I say, I suffer with,
Yeah.
right? I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
But when we were sitting down, I heard the Lord say, "We're managing.
Yes.
We're managing what," you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it gets to a point where things, when you figure out the little nuances, right? The little things, get them lined up. Yeah, I might always have to sit on somebody's couch.
Absolutely. And that's okay.
You understand what
Right,
I'm
that's
saying?
okay.
And I learned that today. It's okay because, you know, even though I'm not ashamed of my therapy, it's the fact that, you know, I got to go 3 times a week for however long till we get to whatever we got to, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, get to. I got to go see the psychiatrist
Right,
and make
right,
sure the
right.
the medicine doing what it's supposed to do. I got to make sure I breathe. I got to use the skills and the tools, you know what I'm saying, that I was given and learned. And it's again, that in itself becomes daunting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That in itself becomes a thing. But knowing that, hey, it's okay,
Right.
and you can, hey, it's always going to be this, but you'll be able to manage it.
Right.
And again, where it might be a big hole,
Right.
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, a sinkhole.
Yeah.
Right now,
Right.
it's like a little pin.
Right.
There
It's
you
a
go.
pin needle.
Wow.
So that part was a blessing.
And just like you said, that everything is learning those nuances,
Yeah.
and learning those different parts, and the more you learn yourself, the more it get better and better and better.
Right.
Yes.
But to we don't want to give someone a false hope that you'll
Yeah.
never have to deal with it.
Yes.
It may be 10, 15
Come
years
on.
down the line,
Yeah.
Right.
and you hear a song,
Right.
you pass by, you see something,
Come on.
Yes.
and then it pierced that little small.
Yeah.
And you have to take a moment and say,
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
and
It
then
is-
it becomes precious to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
That's what I tell people about grief and loss. When I ever get over crying about my mom and my dad,
Yeah.
you probably won't. It will be a small heart,
Yeah.
place in your heart that if you got to pull over 15 years later,
Come on.
give yourself that space.
Yes.
And then you get back on the road.
Absolutely.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you mean. I definitely have a few of those. Those are called triggers,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which brings us to the next
Bring us
point.
to the next one. Yes.
Personally, triggers for me, they when they happen. I remember when my grandmother passed. We were in Nashville for a concert, and I think probably maybe 30 minutes towards being in the Airbnb, I just had a moment because I normally, when I travel, I would pick up my phone and call my grandmother. And when I picked up the phone and clicked on her name, it triggered just tears falling in my face because I remember, oh, she ain't even here no more.
Right.
But because it was such a thing that I did on a constant basis whenever I traveled, because it was the first thing that I always did. Whenever I got settled, I called her, and so that's just one trigger of dealing with grief. What are some other triggers, or could you just explain exactly what a trigger is for those who probably don't even know what it is? It's happening to them, but they don't even know what it is. They don't know why they're feeling a certain way when certain things happen, and they didn't know it was a trigger. You know, could you explain and expound on it?
Real basic to keep it. When in our brain we have our limbic and our frontal lobe, and this is where we think in our front, and the back is where we
Yes.
feel. It's almost like y'all women say. They say women feel and men think. So what men are for
We do say
Venus
that.
and women are for Mars. You know how they say that because our feelings and emotion. So in our emotional, which is our limbic brain, we have a file cabinet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a file cabinet of everything that I mentioned that happened to the rape, the molestation, the bully, the divorce, we have to keep going with life, right?
Yes.
We got to raise our kids. We got to keep going. We have to. We got a business to do. We got to go. So we can't let it. So what we do with that? What did you do with that hurt? What did you do with that pain? We file it in the file cabinet, right? And we keep going. And then when you hear a sound, I like to say our five senses: look like, feel like, smell like, taste like, sound like, what we've been through. It travels to that file cabinet, and then it brings up all the emotion that it was, and that's why the hurt was. Because that's one of the things we try to teach is recognize your triggers. Is it a song? You can be driving down the road and feeling good, and just left your girls, just left your boys, and then free yourself. Come on, and you'll find yourself at the corner of Poplar Ridgeway bawling because the song reminds me, and a lot of time it's the smell of cornbread, the smell of coffee. It reminds you, and it travels to that part of the brain, and it says that hurt or that pain, and then we feel it all over again. What happens with triggers is there is no sense of time in our limbic brain. I'm gonna say that again. Our frontal lobe is where we reason, where we do math, where we think. But our emotional brain, it doesn't know that this is 2/16/2025. It takes you all the way back to the hurt. Come on. And then it brings up that emotion. So then you have to have your frontal lobe. That's why therapy tells you, wait, breathe. Come on. Take a deep breath. I know he just yelled at you, but he's not your father. Go back in the room and breathe and say, babe, you can't yell at me like that because my dad, I'm sorry. So what happened, what that did was bring you and him even closer. You see, I'm open with it. You don't hold it. You go back and say, hey, you can't yell at me like that. So when you found that trigger and when you was in your Airbnb, it was something that smelled like, feel like. Now this is point B. What is it that your grandma used to give you when you called? What do you think?
It was just a reassurance of someone. Wow. A reassurance that someone cared about me. And it was a reassurance that someone cared about me. I just no knocking to mom, dad, sister, brother, nobody, but my grandmother. And we all have these special places in our hearts for our grandparents. I know when I moved out of my mom's house at 18, that's who I went to go stay with. I stayed with my grandmother from 18 until I think 30, literally. So when she passed, it rocked my world, of course. But in that moment of that trigger, I was like, whoa, I'm missing this piece that I normally, call her and I have this reassurance. We talk for a minute. I tell her what's going on, how everything was, how the flight was, or how the drive was, and then she, all right, you have a good, good day. Enjoy your trip. I'll check on you later. Call me when you get home, or yada yada woo woo. It was that sense of care. There you go. And So
what happens at that moment you was in your Airbnb? Things are moving. Things are moving. See, this is where therapy come in. You said learning all those different nuances. At that moment, I need care. Now, I'm going to push you a little bit. It wasn't your grandma that you needed. Your body needed care. So I need care. So what you do is, whoever you in the room with, you tell your friends, hey, y'all, we need to stop for a moment. I just need y'all to know. I need y'all. And then they come and give you care. You get what I mean? And they love you, they hug you, and I'm okay, you're okay. So then it moves from the person to what your body and your emotional need, and you got to be in tune with you that when those moments come, I need care.
Yes. That's good. Yes. That's good. That is good.
And just so everyone's clear, not all triggers are bad.
Right.
So this one that we're speaking of now is not a bad trigger. It's a good one.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because it was something that was needed.
And you're obeying your body.
Exactly.
Right.
There's a time we go to running and we rushing and we doing stuff. This is paying attention to self. my body need care. And I have to pause. And if you can see, you got a team around you that care.
Yeah.
And then that's how you be vulnerable and you move into your relationship. And your relationships get depth and get more care and get more loving because we all stop and give you what your body needs.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on. Thank you for that.
And that was good.
that was-
Knowing what you need
Yeah.
and letting people know around you.
Yes.
As that person that was in the room with him, I did not know he closed himself in the bathroom.
You
No, I
see?
went to the balcony. You was
Yeah.
in the bathroom. I went to the balcony.
And
He
I was going
closed
to ask
himself
you
off.
about that. What did you do with it?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, and that's what therapy is about. That's what I say. You never get over it.
Right.
But
Right.
you learn that there are people and we isolate ourselves because we don't want to be vulnerable. And
Yes.
this is my question. If you married to somebody 25
Why can't you
years,
be vulnerable?
in a relationship with somebody, got a
Yes.
friendship, what keeps us from going into the other room where you were
Right.
to
Come
say, I need care.
Come
Right.
get me.
Come
Yes.
get me.
Yes.
This what takes our relationship to the next level.
Right.
This is what bring intimacy. This is what fill those needs in
Yes.
our body. Because I want to be there for you.
Come on.
Yes.
Teach me how.
Yes.
Teach me how.
He
I don't
was
want to
sitting-
just be friends with y'all and be on the mic
Right.
with y'all. I want you, if we going to do this thing,
Come on, let's do it.
be able to pause a moment and
Yes.
say, I need you.
Yes.
Now, what keeps me in the room, I want to go in and find out
Right.
on my side.
Right.
Yes. And
So
that's
that
what I
pushes
did.
me.
Right.
I walked out there with him and gave him a hug, and
There
he
you go.
literally just said, "I just need a moment." And he like pushed me back
Okay.
inside
Yeah.
instead of telling me like,
There
"This
you
is
go.
what's going on."
Yeah.
right
We
now.
don't. We don't
Right.
know. We don't
Yes.
know how to say it.
We don't know
Yeah.
how to say
We don't know
it.
how to
And
say
I mean,
it.
We all do that as
Yeah.
people. I do that.
Yeah.
Where we get that from?
So this is what I learned in therapy. It's fight or flight. Okay, so we gonna fight through it and you know what I'm saying, take a
Right.
punch, give a punch, or baby,
Right.
I'm out of here. And for me, speaking for me, baby, I will shut the door in a minute.
Yes.
You understand?
To
The
answer
gift-
your
the gift
question,
of goodbye.
Charles, about why do we do that? I can't speak for anyone else on this couch, but I seclude myself because I don't want to feel like I'm weak in that moment.
Okay.
So that's my problem. I feel like I don't want to show weakness to these people, or I
Yeah.
don't want to come off weak, especially if they're perceiving me as the strong friend.
Exactly.
I don't want to be vulnerable or weak in front of them.
You know what I mentioned earlier? I said the event, the story, and the behavior. We focus a lot on the behavior,
Yeah.
the isolation.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to, remember when I gave you an example? I was bullied in high school, so I may think I'm weak. The story keeps us in isolation.
Yes.
As you can see, as you honestly said, that I don't want to be weak.
Right.
So what happened to me with that story? That I don't want anybody to see my weakness because maybe they took advantage of me when I was weak.
My God.
When I gave my heart, when I gave, and I vowed from that point, you'll never
You'll
see
never.
me weak again.
That's it.
You
And
get what I
I've said
mean?
those words a few times.
Fighters, they're going, good morning. What's good about it? I don't want.
Right.
They're my fighters. You know your fighters. Your girls go out to eat and can't nothing be wrong. Call the manager. Call them. It's chill.
Right.
No, I want the manager.
Right.
Yes.
Girl, you know we can't take her nowhere.
Nowhere.
And then you do what I'm saying.
It's one in every group.
You know what that is? I will not let nobody treat me like this.
Right.
You
Period.
do leave. Here it go, leave.
Baby, I
just
have to
leave.
pack.
Why is that? Because my mama left me, my daddy left me, my girl, my wife left me. You just one more person, so just
Right.
go on,
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
And then last is our appeasers. Those are the ones that want to make everybody happy.
Good.
Can we tie mental disorders or types of mental disorders into triggers? Because I know there are a lot of different types of mental disorders. I know for a fact from personal experience the effects of postpartum depression, which is a mental disorder.
Or give you new ones.
Right.
So the medication, it keeps you, if I'm at a 10 or a 5, we say 10 is the best, we'll say 5. If I'm at a 2, right, the medication doesn't give me 10.
Right.
It keeps me
holds you
at
at
my 2.
Right.
It keep, you know what I'm saying? It keeps me at my 2. And so what the therapy does, because this good, sir. What the therapy does, like he was saying, it helps you get the two. It helps you think. Like it takes you. It's not that it's making you a logical thinker, but let's look at the facts. Like let's look at what we're actually dealing with. Okay, 1 + 1 = 2. Right? And me, I'm like, nah, 1 had a Z and a B on it. You see what I'm saying? And that plus sign, it looked like an X.
He did
and I don't know.
this, and she did it because
yes,
that ain't the truth.
Right.
Well, when you talk about hurt people and why they carry on and abusing and everything, if you don't set it right, it won't heal right. I want y'all to meditate on that right quick. You and the listeners.
Yes.
You don't set it
Just
right,
take it
won't
in.
heal right.
If you don't set it right, it won't heal right. What happened when you went through the abuse and you went through the rape and you went through the molestation and you went through the physical abuse? Did we keep going?
Yes, we did.
And then we wonder why 10, 15,
Come on.
20 years later, why I'm going through, why I'm angry and why am I doing this? It's not that you're crazy. We didn't set it
Come
right.
on.
Set it right.
So I
My
want you to take
God.
that arm that was broken. It's
on.
gonna heal,
It will.
Yes.
but it's gonna be deformed.
Yes.
So you got, after what happened, the abuse, it will carry on to the 3rd and 2nd generation because I didn't set it right.
My
So
God.
the abuse and that's why abuse people
Right.
because
Come on.
you were hurting, mom.
Come on.
You
Yes.
didn't get the help.
Yes.
You didn't get
Yes.
what you needed.
Yes.
So it worked to me, and then I'm
Come
doing
on.
it to my
Come on.
kids. Somebody's got
Come
to
on.
say we got to
We
get the help
got to
so
stop
we can
this.
heal.
Exactly. Exactly.
And if you don't set it right, I know therapy is hard. I know this is difficult, but I got to do it because I got to save my marriage. I got to save my kids. I got to save my relationship. So it's bigger than me.
Yes.
What's up, besties?
What's up, guys?
If you guys have enjoyed this episode of this podcast, please take the time to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram. Make sure those notification bells are turned on so that you can receive notifications every time we post.
You see these links down here? Click follow. And if you have enjoyed this episode thus far, make sure you like, share, and send it to a friend. This may help someone else like this is helping you.
Peace. Good job.